The imperfect pitch. What the hell do I mean by that? um, Hi guys, I'm Hugo, the founder of Auto Studio. We basically help businesses in the industrial and construction sector with their lead generation through. We do this through cold email. In this video, I'm not going to try and sell you anything. I just want to show you an email I crafted when I first started out, and although imperfect, it still managed to land an absolute juggernaut in my client sector. There are definitely some learnings, but most of all, I think this demonstrates the potential of email marketing. And quite frankly, if Hugo from 2 years ago could do it, so could you. So can you. So a bit about me. I've basically worked in marketing for over 6 years, working with major accounts such as Lexus and NatWest. This experience ultimately led me to start my own agency, focusing on construction and the industrial sector. Initially, email marketing was just a side offering, but it quickly became one of my core offerings as my existing potential clients found the ROI far more attractive, particularly because I run my service on a performance basis. Basically, my clients only pay when I deliver them results. So the imperfect pitch, let's get into the pitch email. Let's get into that. As mentioned, so email started off as more of a side offering. It came about after a client asked me if it was something I did, and typically when you first start out, you just say yes to everything. And I guess I just had the attitude that I'd just figure it out later. So to set the scene, I was working in the small health and safety business. They literally had two people working with them as a two-person business who sold health and safety services to the construction industry. We launched a campaign with a lead list of 1,200 people. By the way, just a caveat: now that I'm better read on the topic, I'd usually not run a campaign for anything less than 2,500 people. But anyway, we just set out our targeting. We set out targeting construction businesses with no more than 200 people working in them. Sometimes things happen and people can slip through the cracks, but in this instance, I could hardly complain. We ended up booking a meeting with the global director of health and safety at Arcadis. For context, for those who don't know, who this business is, they're a global construction design and consulting business. We're talking, they make 3.5 billion in annual revenue. So I'll go through the email and show you the email I sent that ended up booking a meeting, and I'll critique it. Because it's funny looking back at it. It is honestly riddled with mistakes, and there's so many learnings from it. But ultimately, that it still did book the meeting. So, imperfections can actually work. But anyway, yeah. So this is email one. So I guess initial feedback. So looking at that subject line. So you speak sign language, that's got nothing to do with health and safety. I would say in my early days, I spent so much time worrying about and overthinking and obsessing about what my subject line could be. And actually what I do now is, I really don't think about it too much. A classic I go with is, first name, quick question. I guess the way I would approach this now is if you were emailing one of your colleagues, what's your subject line going to be there? You're literally just nipping over a quick email. What are you going to write at that subject line? And I think first name, quick question is always a good one to go with. I guess what I've come to realize, you don't want to turn people away before they've even clicked on your email, and having a overly complicated or overly thought out subject line can sometimes push people away because they can immediately see it as a cold email. But yeah, so if we look at this first email, I guess my initial thoughts are, the email could be more concise and focusing on their needs right away. By it being shorter, it could help capture its attention a bit more effectively. And I think also shifting the focus more to the receptant's challenges right from the start. So yes, personal experience can be useful, but I think by shifting the focus more to the benefits of why we're contacting them and why they should listen to us could be far more compelling. So email too. So here, obviously, acknowledging the previous email could be, it's a good bet. But I think again, adding value to help keep the message fresh. I think keeping the value prop. What are the specific outcomes he could expect from simplifying his health and safety process. My only issue here is, yeah, it could be seen as a little bit surface level and wishy washy. And then lastly, increasing the level of personalisation by perhaps mentioning a recent project and news about the receptance company, just to show we've done our homework. And then lastly, third time's a charm. As you can tell, I'm very keen to speak to Arcadis. The persistence is key. It goes without saying. People like to be wanted, but people like to be chased up. Not always like to be chased up, but persistence is key. But this tone could perhaps be adjusted to be more positive and assertive. Followed by value you want to provide, rather than the amount of attempts you've gone through to try and contact them. Also, so I've gone straight in trying to force a discussion, but maybe we could look to share something of relevance to them instead. Kind of offering them value without really necessarily almost having the mindset of not necessarily caring if they come back to us or not, but here's some value, of genuine value to them that could help him in his business. And I think will massively help increase your chances of them coming back to you. But that being said, this is why I've called this whole video the imperfect pitch, because look at the reply we got. I'm so sorry for not responding to you sooner, but in between business travel, I've had time next week, Wednesday morning or Friday, just after lunch. Would any of these options work? So I think this does show that, this, you can overthink it so much, and actually, you still get a reply. So results and reflection, the clear result is securing the meeting, with my client's dream ICP. This definitely underscores the significance of potentially email marketing to connect with your key targets, even though my campaign was absolutely riddled with mistakes. I guess also this achievement, notably by a less experienced version of myself, speaks volumes about what's possible with, if you have a refined strategy and of course you add on that you're persistent. Importantly, it also reaffirms that persistence and a willingness to learn from imperfections can definitely get you substantial results. And actually, overall, it kind of serves as a testament to the effectiveness and the power of targeted email marketing. So, this is me not really, if I'm being brutally honest with myself, not having a total understanding of what I'm doing. And, you got one of the biggest players in this industry coming back to him, willing to have a meeting. So the whole campaign highlighted some key lessons, and also going forward, if anyone's watching this, here's some key best practices. So what I've learned, over the course of the last 2 years now, what I've learned is keeping emails brief, ideally under 50 words, to maintain the reception's attention. I always think, you're a cold email. People are getting hundreds of emails a day, and then a cold email comes into their inbox. They don't know who you are. They don't know who your business is. You've got to give them a reason to listen to you, but also, time is money. So don't go send them a 200-word email. They're just not going to read it. So really pack the punch if you can into 50 words. So I think that's the first one, keeping your email to 50 words. Then secondly, just really focusing on the challenges rather than your own story or background. We all have a tendency, when I was starting out, I definitely had a tendency of going in pitch mode and just talking about myself. Bearing in mind, you've just slipped into this person's inbox. They don't care about you. Let's talk about how you can help them rather than talking too much about yourself. So don't take up precious real estate talking about yourself. Put the spotlight onto them, talk about them and how you can help them. Simplify the message for clarity and impact. Just make it really easy. I always think it's always good to put messages in layman's terms. Spell it out in a language that a 10-year-old can understand. Because sometimes you may be clued up about the service you offer, or got your head down about your own industry, but really clearly laying out, making it as clear as possible what you're offering is maybe an obvious one, but it's massively going to help. Then also, as you can see there, he didn't come back to me until the fourth email. So persistent in follow-ups is going to massively increase your success rate. I was speaking to someone the other day. They followed up over a 2-month period about 15 times, and it wasn't until the 15th time they managed to book the meeting. Customizing email content to reflect an understanding. So this is that's massively going to help you. So basically, not looking like you're a cold email. Also, this is an interesting one, particularly if whoever's watching this, if you're an email marketing agency, or if you're a freelancer, or if you're working in a specific company, is actually looking like the people you're targeting to. What I'm getting here is making sure that you're actually using the language they'd use in their industry. There's no point in having the language of the way a lawyer would talk if you're targeting, let's say, ice cream parlors. I don't know, that's a bad example, but my point is like making sure you're using the correct language that industry or that receptant would be expecting to hear. Offer clear, straightforward solutions to their complex problems, and then finally, just be human. Don't come across as a mass outreach email. How would you message a colleague? I think that's always a good benchmark. How would you message a colleague? You're not going to come across as some ChatGPT email. So just bear that in mind. Just to wrap up, just to wrap this up, the key takeaways here is that for starters, you obviously need a bit of luck to catch someone at the right time. I can't tell you how many emails I've sent and people have kind of sent me quite rude replies back, laying into me if I've got it wrong, and maybe I've made the mistake of making it look too much like a cold email. But so catching someone at the right time and actually having a bit of luck massively helps. So they're willing to get back to you. However, that being said, you can definitely make your own luck by following some of the steps I just mentioned above, but also don't overthink it too much. Don't go into the hard sell. Simply look to strike up a conversation and go from there. Anyway, look, that's all from me. Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give me a like. I'm going to try and make more of these over the coming months. Thank you and goodbye.